Some houseplants are more than just pretty greenery. They're long-term companions that can stick around for decades if you treat them right. Instead of swapping out wilted leaves every season, imagine having plants that just keep growing, maturing, and becoming part of your home's story. In this video, we're looking at 17 of the longest-lived houseplants you can bring indoors, the ones that reward a little care with years of beauty, resilience, and a touch of timeless charm. These plants aren't just low maintenance, they're tough survivors that adapt to your space and lifestyle. They bring stability in a way few other things in a home can. If you're ready to grow plants that will be with you for the long haul, let's get into it. First up, the large Monstera Obliqua, a plant that's basically a living piece of art with those wild, lacy leaves that look like nature got creative with a pair of scissors. This isn't your average houseplant. It's known to live for decades when cared for properly, making it one of the true long-haul champions for indoor gardens. With bright, indirect light and steady humidity, it can keep putting out new leaves year after year, slowly turning into a massive centerpiece in your home. The crazy part? In the wild, these plants can climb up trees for over 30 feet, which shows just how strong and adaptable they are. People often confuse them with the more common Monstera Adansonii, but Obliqua is the rarer, more delicate cousin, worth the effort if you want a plant that feels special and lasts a lifetime. Plus, each leaf can take months to fully mature, so you're literally watching nature's artwork unfold right in your living room. Next on the list is Adenium, often called the desert rose, and it's a plant that proves toughness and beauty can actually go hand in hand. This striking houseplant can live for decades, sometimes even 30 years or more, thanks to its thick, swollen trunk that stores water like a built-in survival tank. Give it bright light and minimal watering, and it'll reward you with bursts of vibrant, rose-like blooms that look almost too good to be real. What's wild is that in its native habitats across Africa and the Middle East, Adenium thrives in hot, dry conditions where most plants would just give up. Indoors, it grows more compact but still develops that gnarly, sculptural codex that makes every plant unique, almost like owning a living bonsai. With just a little seasonal care, this plant can become a long-lived showstopper in your collection, holding its ground year after year while adding a splash of color and personality to your space. The jade plant, also known as Crassula ovata, is pretty much the poster child for long-lived houseplants. Some families even pass them down like heirlooms, with plants living well over 50 to 70 years. This succulent thrives on neglect, storing water in its plump, glossy leaves, which means you don't have to hover over it with a watering can every other day. As long as it gets bright light and well-draining soil, it will steadily grow into a thick, tree-like shape that feels more like a permanent fixture in your home than just decor. What makes it even cooler is the belief that jade plants bring luck and prosperity, which is why you'll often see them near front doors or office desks. Over time, their woody stems and lush green leaves only get better, making them one of those plants that truly grow with you through the years. The Peepal Bonsai, crafted from the sacred Ficus religiosa, is one of those plants that doesn't just live long, it can practically outlast generations when cared for correctly. In the wild, peepal trees are known to survive for centuries, and even in bonsai form, these little giants can live for decades, sometimes over 100 years with steady pruning and proper care. They thrive in bright light and prefer soil that stays slightly moist but not soggy, rewarding you with glossy heart-shaped leaves that shimmer in the sunlight. What's fascinating is that this tree is tied to deep cultural and spiritual history. It's the same species under which Buddha is believed to have attained enlightenment. Indoors, a peepal bonsai grows slowly, allowing you to shape and train it into a living piece of art that evolves over time. Owning one isn't just about having a plant, it's like keeping a living legacy that adds character, resilience, and an almost timeless presence to your indoor garden. Eucalyptus might not be the first plant you think of for indoors, but when grown as a potted tree, it can actually be a surprisingly long-lived and rewarding houseplant. Known for its refreshing, menthol-like scent, this plant can live for decades with the right care, especially if you keep it pruned and in a large enough container to handle its strong root system. It loves full sun and well-drained soil, and once established, it grows fast, sending out silvery blue leaves that look just as good as they smell. In its natural habitat, certain eucalyptus trees can survive hundreds of years, which shows just how resilient and tough this species really is. Indoors, you're not growing a towering forest giant, but a compact version that brings both beauty and function. Its leaves can even be dried and used in arrangements or for their aromatic oils. With regular trimming to keep it in check, a potted eucalyptus becomes a long-term, eye-catching plant that feels like a breath of fresh air in your indoor garden. Lucky bamboo, despite the name, isn't actually bamboo at all. It's a type of Dracaena that's become famous for its reputation as a bringer of good fortune and its insanely long lifespan indoors. With the right care, these plants can live for well over a decade, and there are stories of some pushing 20 years or more, especially when grown in water with pebbles or in soil. What makes lucky bamboo such a favorite is how little it asks for: low to medium light, a little filtered water, and boom, it just keeps thriving. The stems can be shaped into spirals, braids, or even woven into intricate patterns, turning it into living art that grows along with you. In feng shui, it's said to attract prosperity, health, and positive energy, which is why you'll often see it in homes and offices as a kind of green good luck charm. Over time, the stalks get stronger and taller, making it not just a decorative piece but a long-lived companion that's both symbolic and stylish for your indoor garden. Alocasia Azlanii, often called the jewel alocasia, is one of those rare plants that feels more like a collectible treasure than just a houseplant, and with the right care, it can stay with you for many years. Its metallic, deep purple leaves with striking green veins look like they've been painted by hand, making it a true showstopper in any indoor garden. While it's a bit more demanding than your average leafy friend, giving it bright, indirect light, consistent humidity, and well-draining soil allows it to thrive and continue producing those dramatic leaves season after season. In its native habitat of Borneo, these plants grow in warm, humid forest conditions, which explains why they respond so well to a cozy, greenhouse-like setup indoors. Though slower growing, the longevity of Alocasia Azlanii comes from its ability to regenerate from its corms, meaning even if the leaves die back, the plant can sprout fresh growth when conditions improve. It's not just a plant you own, it's one you nurture and watch evolve over time, making it a stunning, long-lived addition to your indoor jungle. The money tree, or Monstera aquatica, is one of the most beloved long-lived houseplants, often seen with its braided trunk and lush green leaves that symbolize wealth and prosperity. With good care, this plant can easily live 10 to 15 years indoors, and there are reports of some thriving for decades when given enough space and consistent attention. It thrives in bright, indirect light, prefers slightly moist but well-drained soil, and appreciates an occasional misting to mimic the humidity of its native Central and South American habitats. What makes the money tree especially fascinating is its rapid growth. It can shoot up several feet in just a few years, eventually forming a small indoor tree that becomes a striking centerpiece. In feng shui, it's said to attract positive energy and financial luck, which is why you'll often find it in homes and offices. Over time, its trunk thickens and its canopy becomes fuller, turning it into a long-term companion that's not only beautiful but also steeped in symbolism and good vibes. Anthurium Crystallinum is a true gem among long-lived houseplants, known for its velvety, dark green leaves with striking silver-white veins that look almost like nature's own embroidery. With proper care, this plant can thrive indoors for decades, slowly growing into a bold statement piece that feels both exotic and timeless. It does best in bright, indirect light, high humidity, and a loose, airy soil mix that keeps its roots happy, conditions similar to the tropical forests of Central and South America where it naturally grows. One of the coolest things about Anthurium Crystallinum is that it doesn't just sit pretty. It also produces unusual, long-lasting flowers called spathes that can appear multiple times a year, adding even more charm. Though it grows slowly, its resilience and ability to adapt make it a plant that rewards patience with lasting beauty. Over the years, each new leaf gets bigger and bolder, making it a long-lived centerpiece that just keeps getting better with age. The Philodendron pink princess is one of those rare houseplants that feels like it was designed to turn heads, and with the right care, it can live for decades as a true staple in your indoor garden. Its dark, glossy leaves splashed with vibrant pink variegation make every plant unique, and over time, it can climb and spread, creating a dramatic display that only gets better as it matures. Native to the tropical forests of South America, it thrives in bright, indirect light, well-draining soil, and a bit of extra humidity to keep those pink streaks popping. What's amazing is that this plant can grow several feet tall indoors when given a moss pole or trellis, and each new leaf feels like a surprise reveal of color. Collectors love it not just for its beauty but also for its resilience. When cared for properly, it becomes a long-lived companion that continues to evolve year after year. The pink princess isn't just decor, it's a statement plant that grows alongside you, holding onto its charm for the long run. The Ginseng Ficus, known for its thick, bulbous roots that almost look like little legs, is a houseplant that blends character with serious longevity. This bonsai-style plant can live for decades indoors, often 20 years or more, and with careful pruning and steady care, some even push past the 50-year mark. It thrives in bright, indirect light and doesn't mind the occasional mist watering thanks to its sturdy root system that stores moisture, making it both tough and forgiving. Native to Southeast Asia, the Ginseng Ficus naturally grows into large trees, which explains why even in a pot it develops that unique, sculptural trunk that feels like living art. What's especially rewarding is how it responds to shaping and trimming. You can guide its growth to create a miniature tree that evolves with you over time. With its resilience, quirky looks, and ability to stick around for the long haul, the Ginseng Ficus isn't just another houseplant. It's a companion that matures and deepens in character the longer you have it. The snake plant, or Sansevieria, is one of the toughest and longest-living houseplants you can bring home, with many surviving 20 to 25 years indoors and some even pushing past 50 with minimal care. Its upright, sword-like leaves don't just look sleek, they store water, making this plant nearly indestructible even if you forget about it for weeks. It thrives in low to bright light, doesn't mind irregular watering, and tolerates a wide range of conditions that would send most plants packing. Native to West Africa, snake plants are also natural air purifiers, filtering out toxins like formaldehyde and benzene, which adds to their long-term value in your space. Over time, they spread slowly by producing new shoots, eventually forming a dense architectural cluster that feels more permanent than decorative. With their resilience, clean lines, and decades-long lifespan, snake plants are the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it companion that quietly grows alongside you year after year. The rubber plant, or Ficus elastica, is a true classic when it comes to long-lived houseplants, with the potential to thrive for 20 to 30 years indoors and even longer if given the right care. Known for its large, glossy leaves that can range from deep green to burgundy, this plant doesn't just add bold style. It grows into a tree-like presence that can reach over 6 to 10 feet tall inside your home. Native to Southeast Asia, rubber plants are tough survivors that adapt well to indoor conditions, needing bright, indirect light and moderate watering to keep their thick leaves looking vibrant. Over time, the stems thicken and the canopy spreads, turning what starts as a tabletop plant into a striking indoor tree. Fun fact: in its natural habitat, these trees can live for more than a century and grow over 100 feet tall, which shows just how resilient they are. Indoors, a rubber plant becomes a long-term companion, evolving slowly but steadily into one of the most enduring and stylish plants you can grow. A bonsai tree isn't just a plant, it's a living piece of art that, with patience and care, can outlive its owner and be passed down through generations. Some bonsai specimens are documented to be hundreds of years old, carefully shaped and maintained by countless hands over time. Indoors, a well-cared-for bonsai can easily live for decades, often 50 years or more, depending on the species and attention it receives. These miniature trees thrive on balance, bright light, well-draining soil, careful watering, and regular pruning to maintain their iconic sculpted form. What makes bonsai so fascinating is that they're not about forcing a plant to stay small, but about guiding its natural growth into a miniature version of a full-sized tree. Over time, the trunk thickens, the branches take on more character, and the tree begins to tell a story of age and endurance. A bonsai isn't just decor for your home, it's a lifelong project, a symbol of patience, resilience, and beauty that grows richer with every passing year. Philodendron Tortum is a striking long-lived houseplant that brings a bit of wild rainforest energy into your home, and with proper care, it can thrive for decades. What sets it apart is its unique, skeleton-like leaves that look almost like palm fronds, giving it an airy, tropical vibe that's unlike any other philodendron. Native to Brazil, this plant naturally grows in warm, humid forests, which means it loves bright, indirect light, a chunky well-draining soil mix, and consistent moisture without being waterlogged. Over time, the tortum develops into a tall, vining plant that can climb a moss pole or trellis, rewarding you with larger, more dramatic leaves as it matures. Like many philodendrons, it's a hardy grower once established, adapting well to indoor conditions and steadily producing new growth year after year. Its longevity comes from its strong root system and ability to climb, making it a plant that only gets more impressive with time. For anyone looking to add a bold, long-term companion to their indoor jungle, the Philodendron Tortum is a real showpiece that doesn't disappoint. Monstera Esqueleto, often mistaken for its cousin Monstera Adansonii, is a rare and long-lived climbing plant that can easily become a centerpiece in your indoor garden for decades. Its giant, fenestrated leaves look like living skeletons, with dramatic cutouts that get even more striking as the plant matures. Native to Central America, this monstera thrives in bright, indirect light, high humidity, and well-draining soil that mimics its tropical rainforest roots. Over time, it can climb several feet indoors when supported with a moss pole, producing massive leaves that can span over 2 feet in length. With proper care, it's a plant that keeps growing stronger year after year, making it a true investment piece for plant lovers. Unlike faster, short-lived houseplants, the Monstera Esqueleto rewards patience with longevity and sheer presence, evolving from a compact start into a dramatic, long-term companion that can stay with you for a lifetime. Golden pothos, also known as Epipremnum aureum, is one of the easiest and longest-living houseplants you can grow, often thriving for 20 years or more indoors with very little effort. Its heart-shaped green leaves splashed with golden variegation make it a classic favorite, and it can grow into long, trailing vines that easily reach 10 feet or more inside your home. Native to Southeast Asia, this plant is almost indestructible. It tolerates low light, irregular watering, and a range of conditions that would challenge most other plants. Over time, a well-cared-for golden pothos can develop thick, woody stems and a full, cascading look that becomes a permanent feature of your space. What makes it even more impressive is that in the wild, these plants can grow into massive climbers with leaves several feet long, proving just how resilient and long-lasting they really are. Indoors, it remains a forgiving, timeless companion that keeps adding beauty, greenery, and freshness to your home for decades. And there you have it, 17 of the longest-lived houseplants that can bring beauty, character, and a real sense of permanence to your indoor garden. These aren't just plants you'll enjoy for a season. They're companions that can grow with you for decades, some even becoming part of your family's story. If you're ready to add a little longevity and life to your space, these are the ones to start with. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more plant tips, and drop a comment to let me know which of these long-lived beauties you're growing at home.